Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Pioneer Valley Tip-Off Selection Show. My name is Lucas Wildrick.
And my name is Jack Bates, and we are the executive directors of this year's PVTO. This year's selection show is brought to you by the McCormack Sport Leadership Academy.
Are you interested in what really goes on behind the scenes in sports? The McCormack Sport Management and Leadership Academy at UMass Amherst gives high school students a 2-week deep dive into the business of sports, from marketing and analytics to athlete representation and digital media. Led by the #1 ranked sport management program in the country, students learn from top faculty and industry pros, and finish with a professional presentation for college or career use. The program is offered both in person and online, with scholarships available as well. You can learn more using the link down below or the QR code pictured on the screen now.
We'd like to give a special thank you to the McCormack Summer Sports Leadership Academy for making the selection show possible. And without further ado, let us pass it over to our broadcasters who will get to all of our 10 great matchups this year.
Hello guys, welcome to the 2025 Pioneer Valley Tip-Off. First matchup, Dylan, Belchertown girls versus South Hadley girls. It'll be a fun one. Belchertown, led by head coach Jason Woodcock. Their record last year, 12-10, a very respectable record. Some of their standout players that made it happen, Morgan Litz, Aubrey Kilgan-Smith, and many other contributors. Dylan?
Yeah, you said it, Zeke, and it's going to be really exciting to see them face off against the South Hadley girls team, led by head coach Paul Dubik. Last year they were 22-4, so we know that they're a very capable squad. And last year they actually lost in the state championship, the D4 state championship against Cathedrals. So, we know that they've been able to get to the promised land before. It's just a question of, can they do it again?
Respectable squad, led by Cara Dean, Kate Phillips, and Olivia Athas.
Our second matchup today is a rivalry. This is Chicopee versus Chicopee here. Chicopee girls versus Chicopee Comp girls. This is a huge matchup. They actually faced off against each other last year. Bit of a David and Goliath situation as Chicopee Comp came out with a great win, but Chicopee girls went 2-18 last year. They're really looking for a bounce back year. They will be standing on the shoulders of Kaya Price, looking to her to face off in this huge matchup against Chicopee Comp.
Now, Chicopee Comp girls were a great team last year, record 10-11, so solid, but not a lot of talent coming back from the roster from last year. So you'll get to see some new faces, some new stars that step on the Mullins court for this year's Pioneer Valley Tip-Off. Obviously, not many players, but they're led by their fabulous head coach, Alyssa Stefanelli.
Our next game, Game 3, we got some Friday night lights with Chicopee versus Chicopee Comp. Chicopee last year led off the season beating Chicopee Comp 51-50 in a nail-biter, but they finished the year 3-17, led by head coach Craig Smith. Cam, what can we expect?
Yeah, Chicopee Comp got off to a tough start last year, losing to their rival in Chicopee boys, but they managed to finish the season 14-7. They had some standout players coming back this year, most notably in Elijah Kleps, had 17 points in last year's game. They're looking to avenge that loss from last year. They're led by coach Gavin Smith, and this is definitely going to be a good one. Friday night battle.
You said it. Game 4, we got a good one. Pioneer Valley Chinese Immersion School versus Pioneer Valley Christian Academy. These are two teams that have never been in the PVTO before, so it's going to be very fun getting some new prospects.
Yeah, so for the Chinese Immersion School, they're 9-8 last season, but a season where they're trying to get back to their rhythm, of course, obviously located in Hadley, Massachusetts, and a player we can look out for, Dylan, is Grafton Tolapoco. That's one of the best players in the Valley.
Absolutely. And for Pioneer Valley Christian Academy, they were 8-12 last year, so a very even squad, almost at 500. They're going to put up a great fight against Pioneer Valley Chinese Immersion School boys.
We got a great matchup here. This is the Frontier Girls versus Springfield International Charter School matchup. On the Frontier Girls side, they're coming out of South Deerfield with coach Dave Mackin. Last year, they had a very impressive season of 18-4 with standout returner Skylar Steele, who in last year's matchup actually put up 13 points, went 5 for 7 against East Hampton, but we're not facing off against East Hampton next year. This year, they've actually got Springfield International.
And this is a good team, led by, of course, head coach Tyrone Reed. Their record last year was a respectable 10-11, just trying to have that bounce back season to get above that 500 mark. So this could be a good matchup and a good way to spend your Saturday.
Game 6 on Saturday. We got a good one, folks. South Deerfield Frontier School versus Wacona, based out of Dalton, Massachusetts. Frontier, they had a great squad last year, led by Max Millett, scoring 23 points per game. And in the PVTO last year, he was a monster. He had a double-double before the half and ended their game with 28, 18, and 6. Cam, what can we expect for this one?
Well, the Frontier boys are facing off against one of my favorite teams out here. This is the Wacona boys team out of Dalton, Mass. They're coached by Dustin Belcher. They went 8-12 last year in the regular season, and then went to the playoffs, actually, where they lost to Manchester Essex in the first round, but very respectable season. They had some standout players that you'll see this year in Sam McLaughlin, Aiden Hagmeyer, and Jack Descharme there. And actually, this is Wacona's first appearance in the Pioneer Valley tip-off since 2021, where they actually beat Renaissance 61-36. And if you guys remember, local superstar Lucas Wildrick actually scored 2 whole points in that game. So Wacona coming back for a vengeance.
Yeah, 2 points. Any contribution is meaningful in its own, and our executive director for the PVTO, Lucas Wildrick, was a baller in that one. So we're very excited for this matchup on Saturday.
We got a great matchup for Game 7, and that's the Agawam girls versus the West Springfield girls. We'll go over Agawam first, led by, of course, head coach Tim Murphy. Their record last year, 16-5. So a really good season from this. Can they continue that momentum into this year? We'll see. Of course, the comeback win against West Springfield was a big highlight from last year's PVTO, but West Springfield, new team.
Yeah, Zeke. So West Springfield, led by head coach Belinda McConnell, they were only 7-12 last year, but there's a lot of good things going on in that program. And like you said, they had that loss to Agawam last year, 49-40, where they kind of just fell apart in the final moments of the game. So this will be a good revenge opportunity for them.
Now we've got a rematch of last year. This is the Agawam boys versus West Springfield boys. This is a big matchup. Agawam, on this side, Agawam went 15-6 last year. I don't know if they have any returning players, but coming off of a great season last year in their matchup against West Springfield, actually had a dominant 75-43 victory. So Agawam looking to extend that dominant lead over West Springfield.
Boy, and you know, when you have returning matchups, you bring rivalries with it. And when you have rivalries, you throw records out of the door. So you throw the West Springfield last year record of 3-17. You know they're led by head coach Joel Aponte, so you know it's going to be a good showing from them. One of their star players, Enrique Alicea, 18 points on 5 for 7 from the line last year. So look, it's going to be a fun one between these two teams, Cam.
Absolutely. Game 9, we got a good one. Amherst versus Smith. Girls teams taking each other on. For Amherst, they're led by coach Aaron Clace, and last year, folks, they were 0-20, and in the PVTO, they lost 75-10. So they're going to be looking to get their first win in over a calendar year.
Yeah, and they're facing off against the Smith girls team, led by their fearless leader, Tommy LaFond Zareni. Last year, they went 13-8, and even though that's a little bit more impressive than 0-20, this is the PVTO. Anything could happen. This is Smith's first year in the tournament, so welcome to the tournament. They've got a big matchup against Amherst, and I can't wait for this one.
Absolutely.
To finish off what's going to be a fantastic tournament, it's Amherst boys versus Minneshaug boys. Amherst coming home to the Mullins Center, of course, led by head coach Jamal Jackson. Their record last year, 5-15, so looking to step up and have a better season this year. Of course, they're led by Samuel Woodruff, who had 16 points and 7 rebounds last year. So someone really to look out for if you're Amherst. What about Minneshaug, Dylan?
Yeah, and for Minneshaug, it's been a couple of years since we've seen them in the PVTO, but they're led by coach Ryan Mins. Last year they were 14-7, and they're a very promising squad. You know, they had last year junior, current year senior Miles Fergus score about 19 points per game for them. So he's a dominant scorer. It's going to be very fun to see what he can do.
Great matchup to wrap it all off. We'll see you there.